Get ready, college football fans, because Georgia just pulled off the kind of move that championship programs make before the rest of the sport even understands what is happening. While rivals are busy talking about schedules, quarterbacks, and recruiting battles, the Bulldogs have quietly pushed forward a massive $56 million football complex expansion that feels far bigger than a simple construction story. This is not rumor, and it is not message board smoke. According to Dog Nation, the UGA Athletic Association unanimously approved the full $56 million funding request, and that single vote may end up telling us more about the future of Georgia football than any spring practice report ever could. Because when a program with Georgia's resources, momentum, and ambition decides to expand again, the message is clear. This is not about maintaining the standard. This is about moving the standard so far ahead that the competition is forced to chase shadows. And what makes this even more fascinating is the timing. According to Dog Nation and 24/7 Sports, construction is scheduled to begin in January 2026 and run through July 2027, which means this is not some vague dream for the distant future. The calendar is real, the money is approved, the blueprint is active. Georgia Athletic Director Josh Brooks called the project a key final piece in getting the practice setup exactly right, especially in terms of making practices more functional and more efficient. That wording matters. Programs do not talk like that unless they believe they are solving a real competitive problem. This is not cosmetic. This is operational. This is Georgia looking at the next era of college football and deciding it will not be caught reacting after the market changes. It wants to control the environment before the environment controls everybody else. Then you get to the actual details, and the scale becomes even more revealing. According to 24/7 Sports, this project takes Georgia from 1.75 practice fields to 3.75 practice fields. That is a dramatic jump in usable training space, and it comes with 168 additional parking spots for student athletes and staff, full lighting on all fields, new telescopic video technology, an equipment and training area that also functions as a pavilion for recruits and donors to watch practice. Think about that for a second. This is not just more room. This is more room, more efficiency, more technology, more convenience, more presentation value, and more recruiting theater all rolled into one. According to Tanner Steins, Georgia's Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Capital Projects, the goal is to stop hand-filming practices and modernize the entire operation with remote recording and upgraded infrastructure. That is how elite programs think. They do not just add square footage, they remove friction from everything. And then comes the part that makes this story feel almost absurd in the best possible way. According to Dog Nation, the project requires lowering the current track complex by 12 feet and removing about 80,000 cubic feet of soil. That is not a tweak, that is a major engineering play. That is Georgia literally reshaping the ground beneath its football operation to create a better future. There is something symbolic about that. While other programs sell hype, Georgia is moving earth. While other schools talk about culture, Georgia is pouring millions into a system that makes daily work sharper, cleaner, and more intimidating. The footprint, as Josh Brooks described it, will be dynamic, and when you hear that word next to parking, fields, technology, and integrated space, you start to see the real secret here. Georgia is building a machine, not just a facility. What makes this even more dangerous for the rest of the SEC is that this $56 million move is not happening in isolation. It is landing on top of an infrastructure wave that has already transformed Georgia athletics. According to the University of Georgia, the most recent Mehre Heritage Hall expansion cost $80 million and added 165,000 square feet of new and improved space, including a larger weight room, sports medicine facility, locker room, and player lounge. UGA also noted that the 2011 expansion added 53,000 square feet, while the indoor athletic facility dedicated in 2017 cost $30.2 million and includes a 100-yard football practice field. In other words, this new $56 million project is not the beginning of Georgia's arms race in facilities. It is the next layer in an already elite ecosystem.
Georgia is not trying to become modern. Georgia is trying to become untouchable.
And if you want to understand why Georgia can make a move like this, follow the money and the institutional momentum. According to official UGA athletics reporting, the Athletic Association approved a fiscal year 2026 budget of $223 million, up nearly 16% from the $192.7 million budget in 2025. That is a huge jump, and it tells you the program is operating with national powerhouse financial muscle. Even more revealing, according to Georgia's January 2026 Winter Board update, the Georgia Bulldog Club's capital campaign had already raised $249 million toward a $300 million goal. On Josh Brooks' official UGA staff profile, Georgia also says the Bulldog Club raised a record $86.4 million in 2022, $102 million in 2023, and $113 million in 2024. So when Georgia approves a $56 million football expansion, this is not reckless spending. It is a program flexing the financial infrastructure it has spent years building. That is what should terrify rivals. This project is not a stretch for Georgia, it is a strategy. Now add the competitive backdrop, and the story gets even louder. According to Josh Brooks' official UGA biography, under his leadership, Georgia has won 9 team national championships, 12 SEC crowns, and 33 individual national titles across 21 sports. The same official page notes that Georgia football won SEC titles in back-to-back years for the first time since 1980, and that the Bulldogs have captured the conference title in 3 of the last 5 seasons. Official Georgia reporting also confirms the 2024 SEC title was the program's 15th, and the 2025 SEC championship win over Alabama pushed the school to 16 SEC football championships. This matters because the facility story is not happening around a fading brand trying to buy relevance. It is happening inside a winning empire that is already proving its model works. Georgia is building after championships, not before them. That is a very different signal to recruits, donors, and the rest of the sport. And let's not ignore the recruiting and perception side of this. According to 24/7 Sports, the project's pavilion component is specifically designed to give donors and recruits a place to view practice. That means Georgia is not just investing in development, it is investing in the theater of development. Recruits are going to see more grass fields, full lighting, integrated technology, modern filming systems, a cleaner, more organized practice environment. They are also going to see a program that clearly believes the future belongs to schools that operate at NFL-like standards. Add in the fact that Sanford Stadium officially lists a capacity of 93,033, one of the biggest stages in the sport, and the message becomes brutal for the competition. Georgia can sell history, scale, winning, money, innovation, and a visible commitment to staying ahead. That's a hard pitch to beat, even for blue blood rivals. So, the treasure at the center of this story, the real masterstroke that could make rival fan bases nervous, is not just the number $56 million by itself, it is what that number represents. According to Dog Nation, 24/7 Sports, and official Georgia sources, this project adds practice capacity, solves parking pressure, upgrades lighting, modernizes film and video operations, creates a better viewing environment for key visitors, and extends a facilities wave that already includes an $80 million Mehre expansion, a $30.2 million indoor facility, and a track project that Dog Nation reported at $59.8 million. Georgia is not patching holes. Georgia is stacking advantages. It is building a football ecosystem where practice becomes more efficient, recruiting becomes more persuasive, donor confidence becomes stronger, and the daily athlete experience becomes harder for competitors to match. That is why this feels less like construction news and more like a quiet declaration of power. And that is the part everybody else in college football should be paying attention to. Georgia did not need this move to remain relevant. Georgia made this move because staying relevant is not the goal in Athens. Dominating the next decade is the goal. When a program with championship proof, a $223 million athletic budget, a fundraising machine, a 93,033-seat stadium, and an already elite football headquarters decides to invest another $56 million into the practice complex, that is not maintenance. That is a warning.
It is Georgia saying that while others are trying to catch up to what the Bulldogs were, the Bulldogs are already building what the sport will become. So, now I want to hear from you. Do you believe this $56 million expansion is the next secret weapon in Georgia's push to stay on top of college football for years to come? Drop your take in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and tell me whether this is just a facility upgrade or the latest sign that UGA is building something the rest of the country still cannot fully see.